everyone. Welcome back. Another episode, number 3. Yay. I'm glad you're able to join. Today's segment is on change work. So subconsciously speaking, what's in your mind? We're going to talk about change work today. But before we get started, I have a little but first story I want to tell you. Okay? Kind of hopefully maybe goes along, just a little intro. So just imagine don't even have to imagine, true, there is a doorway in my house that sticks just a little bit when you open it. It's not broken, but just suspicious. Like it doesn't fully trust that I actually want to go through it. One day I leaned in and I whispered, listen, I'm just trying to get into the kitchen. I don't need resistance. I need snacks. And that's when it hit me. My subconscious mind is that doorway. It doesn't slam shut. It just sticks a little. It wants to test me. Test me, I'm hoarse. Are you really ready for what's on the other side? It's asking. Do you really want to change? Or are you just bored again? Do you even know what's in that metaphorical kitchen in your mind? Sometimes the hardest part of change isn't walking through the doorway. It's convincing the doorway you're serious this time. It's kind of profound, isn't it? I came across that. I thought it was really cool. So let's talk about change work. Change work in any kind of therapy. And usually when someone goes to therapy, it's because they're looking for some kind of change. Shifting the mind to transform life. Understanding your journey from here to there. So I will proceed. Change needs a commitment. A commitment means it's going to take time to make it happen. One needs to realize that their priorities will need to shift in order to create a change. Change. It's such a simple word, but it doesn't mean things are going to stay the same. Yet it carries very profound implications, particularly in the realm of any kind of therapy. I'm working with hypnotherapy. For many, the desire for transformation is clear. You want to break free from the old habits, embrace the new opportunities, heal from emotional wounds. And as a hypnotherapist, I've observed that clients underestimate what true change entails. They want the outcome, but they don't anticipate how deeply their thought patterns and their beliefs and their behaviors are going to need to evolve. And as the saying goes, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. What was the other one? You can't keep using the same solutions that created the problem to change the problem. In today's episode, I am exploring what it means to engage in change work, the mental shifts required, and why change, what kind of change, and why change begins within. And as I described in episode 2 about our mind and how it works, so as we think in our mind, so are we, and our bodies start to catch up to what's going on. So if you're thinking about it, I have a lot of bills. I don't have enough money. Well, guess what? The body's reacting to what you're thinking about. I have a clean life. I love, my job. I deserve happiness, whatever that is. The body starts to react to what you're believing. So, and that's where it can get difficult. I'd asked a question last week about something about imagining yourself changed in the way you wanted to be changed. Well, I hope you thought about that. And if you haven't, just imagine yourself being the person you're hoping to become. And what would that look like? And that's where I come in. The foundations of change work. What does it mean in any kind of therapy? But anytime I say the word therapy in this episode, and just so you know, it's hypnotherapy. I am not a licensed psychologist or a licensed psychotherapist. I'm a certified hypnotherapist, okay? But hypnotherapy, that's a lot of syllables. In therapeutic context, change is not just about adopting new habits or dropping old ones. It's about rewiring the mind. My husband said it's like thought realignment. It's like a really cool way. We're realigning, even like rewiring the mind, altering the neural pathways that dictate how we think, react, and how we behave. Neuroscientists have found that the brain is remarkably plastic, if you will, capable of forming new connections well into adulthood. This concept, known as neuroplasticity, it underpins much of the work we do in hypnotherapy. Now, if you want a testimony on how neuroplasticity works, and I may have mentioned this last week, just YouTube The Backwards Bicycle with Justin Sandler, getting smarter every day. It's not a promotion for his or anything like that, but that one little 7.5-minute segment, he talks about how he unlearned how to ride a regular bicycle and then learned how to ride a backwards bicycle. And he goes through that neuroplasticity between him and his son. It's pretty cool. So I highly recommend it. Old thought patterns can be replaced with new ones, but this requires a deliberate effort and consistency. Intention, that's what it requires. I am intending to make these changes. To put it simply, you can't go from here to there without change. Here represents your current state, familiar, but often limiting your comfort zone. There, the goal, a healthier mindset, better habits, or freedom from past traumas. The journey between these 2 points, that's where the real work happens. And it works. It's requiring both mental and emotional commitment. So the role of thoughts in transformation, at the heart of all change is the mind. And this is where I think the mind is. I don't know if there's scientific evidence that actually proves the subconscious mind is in our brain. Some people believe it's in their heart. Some believe it's outside. So I don't know what scientific evidence. I've not been able to determine yet where the actual subconscious mind lives. We just assume it's in our mind, in our head, up here. But it may not be. Have you ever thought about that? Our thoughts shape our feelings, which in turn influence our actions. And as I've heard quoted many times, you wish to change your life? Start by changing your mind. Your mind changes everything else around you. This isn't just a catchy phrase, it's a principle backed by cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, which shows that altering thought patterns can lead to significant emotional and behavioral shifts. Let's give you an example. Someone struggles with self-esteem. Their recurring thought must be, or could be, I'm not good enough. This belief colors how they interpret the world, how they behave, how their body reacts, causing them to shy away from opportunities, perceive criticisms where none existed, and ultimately reinforcing their negative self-view. What we think, we become. Change work in therapy involves challenging that core belief and replacing it with a healthier one. I am capable and deserving of success. Over time, this new thought pattern becomes the default, leading to improved confidence and better outcomes. And one of the modalities that I work in is called neuro-linguistic programming, NLP. I'm a practitioner for this, and hundreds of different techniques in NLP. But one of them is limiting beliefs, collapsing your limiting beliefs, your limiting decisions, creating reframes, and just getting to the core and just taking what you believe you wished you didn't into something that is now. And my example to that was me. When I was in hypnotherapy college, I had many limiting beliefs that I wasn't good enough to date high caliber men at the time I was dating. This is an example. And when I collapsed that limiting belief, it became with huge confidence, I'm the catch and I can date high caliber men, and my whole dating experience changed. And that was when, I started setting boundaries and just having lots of confidence. But that was a limiting belief that I had. I do not have it anymore. I know who I am and I know my value. And you can too. Okay, so the obstacles to change. Why is it so hard? If change were easy, we'd all be living best lives without hesitation. But human beings are creatures of habit. Our brains are wired to conserve energy. Our minds are pattern recognition machines, which means we default to the familiar patterns, even when those patterns are harmful. Remember last week in episode 2, I talked about our knowns, our comfort zone. We're always going to go back to homeostasis, the drive to just keep things the same. Subconscious mind wants to stay in comfort zone and will do whatever it can to stay there. And that's where the resistance, the discomfort you feel, that tug, it wants to, I like this pattern better. I like being broke better. I like, being in an abusive relationship. It's familiar. even though consciously we know that that's not healthy. Subconscious mind doesn't care. It just wants to stay where it's comfort, the least amount of energy it can use. So even when those patterns are becoming harmful. So research by the National Science Foundation reveals that the average person has about 60,000 thoughts a day. And I'm thinking probably more than that. And a staggering 80% of those thoughts are negative. Moreover, 95% of our thoughts are repetitive, meaning we're running on mental autopilot most of the time. Autopilot, when you leave work and go home and you wonder, how did I get here? I don't even remember leaving the office. Autopilot, that's a form of environmental hypnosis. This mental inertia makes change challenging, not impossible. It's not enough to simply want something different. We have to actively disrupt old patterns and replace them with new ones. As Einstein famously said, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Change work requires us to step out of the cycle of repetition and embrace uncertainty, something the brain inherently resists. So the dangers of using the same techniques. Another major obstacle is the tendency to rely on a familiar strategy. Suppose someone is trying to lose weight but continues to use some ineffective diet plan they've always used. They may blame themselves for the lack of progress, thinking that their lack of willpower, when in reality, the problem lies within their approach. Why are they doing this? Why are they losing weight? And maybe they lost weight before and it was super easy, but what were the reasons and circumstances around that? I remember a client years ago, and she knew she could lose weight a particular way. And she just wanted me to come in with hypnosis because she was able to do it before when she was going to have some surgery. And the doctor said, we can't have this surgery unless you've lost X number of pounds. And it was over 50 pounds, I think. And she was able to lose the weight, and she decided not to have the surgery. It was elective because she was losing the weight, and it was fine. But then the weight started to come back because the reason she was losing it was because of the surgery. Well, the same thing goes along with what exists now that's different or existed before that's different now. So you can't consider willpower, which only works at a conscious level, to be your source of help to make these changes, for example. So when reality, the problems in a person's approach to weight loss, we teach clients to recognize those old methods aren't working and to be open to new ones. When I work with anybody in weight loss, it's not weight loss, because when we lose something, we tend to find it. What I want to do is work with people to make changes, new way of life, period. It's my program called Food Sobriety, if you will. It's not that you're abstaining from food, and I'll do a whole episode just on that, but it's changing the way you live. You can't just lose your 100 pounds and then go back to the way it was before you put it on and just keep eating that way. You'll gain the 100 pounds back and a whole lot more. So it's involving an adaptive mindfulness of practices, exploring hypnotherapy and reevaluating your goals. I help you through that. Every week there's a new theme that I work with, etc. We can talk. Call me for a consult. I'll go through that with you. So change begins within, as I said. The power of the mind, the body, mind-body, it's a connection between the two. So one of the most fascinating aspects of change work is the interplay between mind and body. We learn something new. We like driving a car, riding a bike. The mind must find construct of a mental framework. At first, the body resists, stumbles through unfamiliar motions. Remember, the body's never driven before or ridden a bike before, but the mind sees it. And with practice, the mind teaches the body, and eventually the new skill becomes second nature. The same principle applies to emotional and behavioral change. Initially, it feels awkward and unnatural, but over time, the new patterns take root. This is where hypnotherapy can be particularly effective. By accessing the subconscious mind, the part of the brain that governs automatic behaviors and beliefs, we can accelerate the process. Under hypnosis, clients are more receptive to suggestions for change, allowing them to bypass that mental resistance and often block the progress that they were trying to make on their own. Doesn't mean you can't do it cognitively or on your own. You can. It's a little more challenging, and hypnotherapy, hypnosis can definitely make it a lot faster to make those changes to help you solidify and become new patterns as if they'd always been there. So, desire and belief. What's the importance of this? For change to occur, the desire for transformation must be genuine. Half-hearted efforts rarely yield results. I've had many people pay me lots of money for a 12-week weight loss program, and they've come in for 2 sessions, maybe 3, and they just keep making excuses not to come back. The onus is on them. How badly, I really want this, and I want you to want this. But then, really? How much change? Take somebody who wants to quit smoking. They're not going to come see me for a week. So here's some things that I want you to do for a week before you come see me. Can you do these small little behaviors? Like, for example, do not smoke sitting down. You can only smoke while standing. Period. You can only smoke when you're standing. If you smoke in your car, you can't smoke in your car anymore. You pull over, you get out of your car, you stand, you smoke your cigarette, you get back in. You don't smoke indoors anymore, you smoke outside. If you smoke out back, you smoke out front now. You change all of it. You're smoking to quit, you're not smoking to smoke. And these are just small little changes. If you try to keep it the same, you're going to stay in that comfort zone you want to get out of. So you do what you can to make those changes. And that's like revealing to you whether or not you can it's just a cognitive little change. I got to stand up when I smoke. Okay, how bad do I want to quit? How bad do I really want to get rid of this habit? Can I just stand when I smoke? That's it. Subconscious mind still gets the benefit of the smoking, just not in the same way. Okay? So another example of someone learning to ride their bike, they just wish they could just ride, and they're determined to master it no matter how many times they fall. This level of commitment is crucial when we work with hypnotherapy. Clients must not only want change, but also believe that it is possible. And sometimes you might believe it's possible, and then when the change occurs, maybe it's a task you were trying to implement, and you don't want to relate it to the hypnotherapy that you had, but the result was what you were looking for. I've had those kinds of situations where people, let's try it, and then I want to be able to do this, organize my office. Okay, let's do a little hypnotherapy. We go through what that looks like, blah, 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 and I do it, and then 2 days later, their office is in perfect order. Well, it wasn't the hypnotherapy, it was just me wanting to do it because I needed to get it done. Okay, you go with that, whatever works for you, Psychologist Carol Dweck's research on growth mindset underscores the points of change. People who believe they can improve are far more likely to succeed than those who think their abilities are fixed. In therapy, fostering this belief is a key part of the process. Through techniques, visualization, affirmations, goal setting, I help my clients see themselves capable of change. You have hope. There's always hope. So come in and let's see how that hope works. So let's do some practical steps for embracing change. So identifying the why, step 1. To create lasting change, start by understanding your motivation. Why do you want to change? Is it to improve your health or relationships or your career? Having a clear why provides an emotional fuel needed to overcome obstacles. Understand when you come in to see me as a client, I don't direct the session. I'm always going to ask you what you wish to accomplish. Here's a list of things that I do, and I'll be happy to give that to you. And of those lists of things that I do, which one stands out, or something else that's not on the list that kind of resonates with you. You want to have something like that. As Nietzsche once said, he who has a why to live can bear almost any how. Let me say that again. He who has a why to live can bear almost any how. How do you do your thing, whatever. Step 2, break it down. Big changes can feel overwhelming, so it's important to break them into smaller, manageable steps. For instance, if your goal is to reduce anxiety, you might start by practicing deep breathing for 5 minutes a day before progressing to more advanced techniques like meditation or hypnotherapy. And there's different breathing techniques that I can teach you. Maybe I'll do a whole segment just on breathing. That would be cool. Have a breathing expert come in. Embrace discomfort. Discomfort, oh my gosh, we hate it. Emotional discomfort, but that's your evidence that things are working. The change is happening. Change is rarely comfortable. It requires stepping into the unknown and facing your fears. Here's a simple change. However you put your pants on in the morning, one leg at a time, most people. So if you put them on one leg at a time, try putting them on both legs at the same time. It's different. Try doing that every day. If you don't make your bed every day, try making your bed every day. If you make your bed every day, good for you, but try not making it. It's going to be in your mind all day that you didn't make your bed because it's going contrary. Anything that's contrary to what's the normal. Okay, so embracing the discomfort. It requires stepping into the unknown and facing your fears. So this author, Neil Donald Walsh, W-A-L-S-C-H, wrote, "Life begins at the end of your comfort zone." Got to step out of it, people. But that discomfort is your evidence things are working. Remind yourself that discomfort is a sign of growth, not failure. And there's no such thing as failure. It's just feedback. I can get into more of that later. I'll talk all about feedback. So step 4, seek support. You don't have to navigate alone. All your change with a hypnotherapist or a coach or a supportive community can provide guidance and accountability, which is huge. And your accountability, you have to want the accountability. You know, there's somebody that would be very disappointed in you. That would allow you to feel bad if you disappointed them, if you didn't do what you say you were going to do. That's the kind of accountability you need. Otherwise, it's just, I'll try to be accountable to them. Well, it's my life. I'll do with what I want. Okay, well, then that means you don't want change. Studies show that people are more likely to achieve their goals when they share them with others. Protect self-compassion. Change doesn't happen overnight, and setbacks are inevitable. Treat yourself with kindness and patience. Throughout the process, you're going to succeed and have wins, even the littlest wins. Remember, progress, not perfection, is the goal. So, real life examples from anxiety to confidence. A client came in and struggling with severe social anxiety. They avoided parties, meetings, even phone calls. Through hypnotherapy, we uncovered a root cause, a childhood experience of humiliation. I helped them rewire their subconscious belief. By visualizing themselves as confident and practicing small social interactions, they gradually overcame their fear. Today, there's more than one, but this individual leads presentations at work and even enjoys networking events, no problem. Breaking free from addictions. Now, addictions is a whole other Kool-Aid. Clients come in and they want help with smoking cessation. I have helped hundreds of people quit smoking, and they don't smoke. But here's the key. It's different. I'm bored. I'm lighting a cigarette. Now you're just a bored person lighting a cigarette. If you really want to make a change, start learning about nicotine. What is it? How does it work? And a book I highly recommend, and I get no kickbacks from recommending this book. It's Alan Carr's Easy Way to Stop or Quit Smoking. There's many different versions of it by Alan Carr. He goes into the monster of propaganda of the tobacco companies. It's just a very well thought out book. He smoked, he says, 4 packs a day before he quit. So people try multiple times to quit, and they're trying to use willpower alone. And remember, willpower only works at a conscious level. Imagination and emotion, that's what works at the subconscious level. You see yourself as a non-smoker, and the body catches up to what you see. So the habit's going to keep surfacing because that's what the comfort zone is. That's what the knowns are. We're staying right here in our comfort zone. But through hypnosis, I help you reframe that relationship you have with cigarettes and make them really disgusting. Even the word becomes disgusting. And I can do it for other things, but mostly cigarettes. Anything associated with all the negative sensations. And even I give you a whole list of things that you can do instead of smoke. I even give you a little smoking kit, if you will, a little swag bag of things that you can do instead of smoke. So usually within you quit smoking the day you come in on your cessation day. You're no longer smoking. That's it. You're done. I have you in my office for a couple hours, and we're going through a lot of the different procedures, and I do the recording with you, and the cravings start to die down. One of the things you can do is drink a lot of water. Helps nicotine venture away. But I highly recommend just study nicotine. You'll be amazed at what you find out. A journey worth taking. Anything hard is worth doing well and just doing. Change is not an external transformation. It's an internal revolution. Challenge our beliefs. Embrace new ways of being. While the process can be daunting, it also is deeply rewarding. And as a hypnotherapist, I have witnessed countless clients transform their lives by transforming their minds. Now, people come in to see me, they're at their worst. And usually, probably 9 times out of 10, or a little bit better odds than that, they leave at that first session better than when they came in. Whether your goal is to overcome anxiety, break a bad habit, or simply live more authentically, remember, change starts within. And with the right mindset, anything is possible. I'm proof positive of change. I was not the same person I was 8 years ago, and my transformation has just been that. It's just been, it's been fast for me, just incredibly fast. I'm gonna leave you with one more little story. So there's a couch in my office that's been in the same spot for a while, and one day I decided to move it. Just a few feet to the left. It seemed simple enough, but turns out it was bolted to my identity. I stood there with a tape measure in my hand and felt resistance, but not from the couch, it was from me. That's how the subconscious mind works. You say, I want change, and it says, great, but everything stays the same, right? Going from here to there isn't about flipping switches. It's about realizing it's been quietly nailed down. And you're asking yourself, do I still need this where it is? And sometimes you just move the couch anyway. My name's Ilah Brock. I'm a certified hypnotherapist with Central Valley Hypnotherapy and Wellness Center here in Visalia, California. You can reach me, just look me up on Google, or you can call me at 559-749-4803, or my website, centralvalleyhypnotherapy.com. If you just want to talk and just explore the possibilities, I'm here for you. You take care, and I look forward to next week, episode 4. We're going to have some fun with just specific topics now we're going to get into. Take care, and until next time, guys, have a wonderful day.